So, noting the time and the presence of a quorum, I call the Boxborough Finance Committee meeting to order. We have here Joe Stolpin, Maria Nayland, John Connor, and myself, Tony Newton. Also here we have Gary Kushner, we have Honghua Lee, Town Finance Director, Rajon Hudson, and we have Adam Klein from the School Committee. First order is the minutes of January 27th. Are there any comments on the minutes or edits? Nope. Take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
So, all in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Next is citizens' concerns. So we've had a couple of letters, emails from people about this school reorganisation, and I wasn't sure what's appropriate here, whether it's appropriate to respond to those as a group, respond individually, and if we respond as a group, what should that response look like? Well, I mean, what's, you know,
As a group, meaning as a FinCom?
As a FinCom, yeah.
It should, so in the past, when I've been on different committees, the chair usually responds.
Okay.
And usually it's, thank you for your email, the committee has it, and, you know, we'll take it under consideration. But I do think your response that you wrote up is pretty good. I sent you a few edits, because I feel like that's not gonna be enough. Because there needs to be some, like, we gotta stay in our lane, kind of, you know, answer, like, I think we have to respond to it because not responding isn't gonna make it go away.
Right.
And thank you very much, and we'll take it under consideration. You know.
But I also feel that we, in many ways, instigated that, right? I mean, we've been asking for structural changes for some time, so the school committee responded to our initiative, I think, you know, to some extent.
Yeah.
So I think we should state that.
Yeah, I thought the way you stated it was good.
I thought your letter was fine, other than the one line that I sent you.
Yeah.
I felt, hold on, let me bring it up so I can see.
Yeah, let me share my screen.
Yeah, I think so. I didn't see this. When did you send this email? Because I searched up until
Which email?
5:59. Okay, so it
Yeah,
wasn't me, because I was like.
Yeah, things were a bit late.
Okay, that's okay. I just was
Yeah.
like, you're like, did I miss
Yeah,
this?
I can't find this letter now.
I actually have the letter.
Yeah, I like, you know, you basically reiterated their concern, but that, you know, that's kind of where we started.
Yeah.
And our guidance kind of got as far as we could, and now we're voting on what we were given.
Yeah.
It's kind of too late
Yeah.
to change it, right? So.
For some reason, I can't see the letter.
So I do have the letter.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
emailed it on the February 1st, 10
Do
a.m.
you want me to, this is the one that's included in tonight's package?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Do you
The
want me-
modified version, yeah.
Do you want me
Oh, okay.
to share
Why don't you
it?
share it, yeah.
Okay, hold on. So, share. Response letter. Okay, here we go. Is that it? Am I sharing?
Well, no, you're not sharing. This is my version. This is my screen you're looking at. So.
It says you're sharing. There it is.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
yeah,
there
sorry,
it is.
yeah.
Okay, so this is the one you sent today?
Yeah.
Can you make that? Oh, all right.
What do you want me to do, make it
You
bigger?
can't read that?
Sorry.
I have it on my screen. but-
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was that better? Okay.
Can I make a comment?
Go ahead.
So you have the last sentence in the first paragraph. The FinCom recognizes that changes to this are uncomfortable. I don't think that's the right word. How about difficult?
I actually don't know if we need that last line.
Well, the second part of that is to minimize the cost while maintaining an excellent school system. We're not really minimizing the cost. What we're doing is maintaining an excellent school system within our financial constraints. That's really what we're doing. And I think minimizing the cost overstates it.
So could we, I guess my feeling is, and I'm trying to put myself in the position of a parent, right? I don't want to be told it's uncomfortable. I don't want to be told it's difficult. I already know that, right? I don't need the Boxborough Finance Committee to recognize that. Could we take that out and then put something like this included the proposal to explore deeper structural changes to maintain our excellent school system within a reasonable cost or something, and take that first whole part out, that sentence. Add the excellent school system to, right after structural changes, but I don't know, I don't feel like the Boxborough FinCom recognizes changes like this are difficult.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah,
I
no,
just,
no, I'm fine, yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
I think this is hard and we need to stay in our lane. We're
Yeah.
looking at this from a financial standpoint.
yeah, yeah.
I agree with you, but we can't be cold-hearted bastards. We have to, you know, clearly feel like we're acknowledging the difficulty involved here.
Okay.
I mean, it's not critical either way.
So,
but-
I mean, even if we had that somewhere, but not, we understand it's difficult, but we need to do this anyway. It just, we understand, even if you want to do, thank you very much for your feedback, we understand that this change is difficult, period, the Boxborough Finance, you can acknowledge the difficulty.
Right, but they are necessary. Not think they are necessary. They are necessary. Yeah. So, I mean, we
At
can wordsmith
minimum,
this.
the word uncomfortable needs to come out, so I do like difficult,
Right.
if we have to have that word.
And we don't think they are necessary to.
Do I say think here somewhere?
No.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, no, we do, but we think they are necessary.
okay.
So the Boxborough
I don't
FinCom
think you need to
recognizes
say
changes
but
like this are
I don't know.
difficult.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Beat it
yeah,
to death.
Yeah, yeah.
But they
They
are necessary. Yeah.
period.
I've changed it on my screen, as you know. Okay, so difficult.
How are you sharing? Oh, no, you're not
This
sharing.
is just,
You're-
I'm not sharing. I'm
Okay,
just
okay.
sharing it here.
Yep.
Um,
Can you see it on your screen from the Zoom?
Yes, I see
Okay.
that.
Okay, I just want to make
No,
sure.
I see
you can
yours on.
Yeah, that's fine. I
Yeah.
want to make sure you
But-
can see it in Zoom land.
they are necessary
Yep.
to. We don't minimise costs. We just want to
To maintain an excellent school system within our financial constraints.
I can clean this up later. And I'll just, okay, so let's just go through the rest of it anyway before we finish. But so basically, I'm saying we don't think voting against the assessment would be a good idea.
Yeah, at this stage, I don't even think you have to put at this stage. I just think a vote against the ABRS school assessment would be highly disruptive.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Because if we wouldn't change our mind at a different stage. It's
No,
not like in
that's true.
November, we would have done something
That's
different.
true. That's true. Yeah, yeah.
And the reason.
we set the budget
It's clear.
guidelines.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, we asked them to do this, they
Mrs.
did it,
Smith really
we can't
worked it,
say,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, you followed our guidance,
And we're
pound sand.
also working within the tight town-wide budget environment.
Yeah, so I think this is fine.
Yeah, and just do it for me then, basically, just for me as chair.
I mean, or you can do it on behalf, I think that's not a hill I would die on. That's just in the
Yeah.
past, when I've responded, I've just responded. But if there's a controversy, I would say to the school committee, how do you want me to respond to this? And it always was very brief. This is,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do a clean-up of that
Yep, and just send the same one to everybody.
yeah.
Now, we
We've only
may,
had two, actually, so I mean, it's-
so far, which,
Yeah.
I was told, I had a conversation with someone around this, and I did mention that we're probably not gonna fail the assessment, because that just doesn't make a lot of sense. This was an offline conversation with a parent.
yeah,
And I was told there would be more, which is why I gave you the heads up, that
Yeah.
we may have a few of these, but, and the other thing I was told is they may come on March 3rd, when the school is here. Again, okay, my response was, I don't see how this is helpful. Like, I don't see how failing the assessment is helpful, and I don't feel that the FinCom's gonna do that. So,
yeah,
there was a lot of questions on why we would not do it.
yeah,
So I think this answers those questions,
yeah, yeah.
so.
Again, I like beating a dead horse here, but so the first sentence of the second main paragraph.
Yeah,
A vote against the ABS school budget assessment would be highly disruptive. I mean,
You want to say highly disastrous?
No, it would
We
be,
can just use a different D word.
and would,
Costly. I wouldn't even be just costly, though. It would be kind of
It
chaotic.
would be disruptive, actually.
yeah, but that's not even doing, I don't think it's giving it enough credit. I think, it would set,
Yeah, I mean, where would we go from there? I mean, you
the economic health of the school system even farther behind.
Reckless and disruptive.
What's that?
Reckless and disruptive.
How about would cause, it would just be chaotic.
yeah.
It would be,
Do we need to really
Do we-
sort of...
we can change the
Do
word
we need to
disruptive.
do any of this? No, but I mean, if we're gonna couch it, we're gonna couch it.
I mean, we could change the word disruptive to something
alright.
more, I don't think costly is quite it. I mean, it would be costly, but that's not, there needs to be an understanding. Like, I have explained what happens if the assessment fails no less than 35 times in the last week to people. So we're gonna go to town meeting, and then we're gonna go back, and then we're gonna go back to town meeting, and then we're gonna go back, and then we're gonna do a joint town meeting, and when that doesn't work, we're going to DESE, and they're gonna split the budget this year's budget by 1/12, and that doesn't help anybody. We can't say all that in here. We can just say chaos.
Some people do think of disruption as a positive thing,
Yeah.
like disrupting a market with a new innovative technology.
But this is
So-
beyond that.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
just,
No, I know what you're saying.
you might as well use a word that has no super positive way of thinking about it, right? Highly disruptive, someone might say, great, we want to change things a lot, so let's tear it down, highly
Yeah.
disruptive. It's more than just disruptive.
So what's the word we're looking for?
Detrimental
Detrimental?
to.
Getting there. Yeah.
To the,
Overall budget process.
and the. and-
The
and I-
educational process, the,
AB educational environment.
And to the students, isn't that
Yeah,
what's most
that's really
important?
what we should
you
try
know?
to say. But they're gonna say, this is what, your proposal is incredibly disruptive, and we're like, we know that, you know that.
So it's detrimental to the what?
to students and families in both towns. I mean, what do we want to say? Do we want to say the educational thing, or do we want to get right to it? If we do this, this would cause even more chaos for the students.
Be even more disruptive.
It would be even more disruptive, because this is going to be chaotic, right? We know that, throwing everybody, moving everybody, that's going to be difficult enough. So now let's just take the budget away,
Yeah.
It does kind
and
of,
then have to go to 3 town meetings, and,
it does kind
you know.
of fall out of the financial,
right, that's the
Part of
problem. It needs to be, I think we need to stick to our lane, that's. Yeah.
Okay, but we're sticking to our lane by knowing what the process is, and it's gonna cause more chaos. There will be downstream effects outside of us,
yeah.
and it will be the kids and the school system and the administrators and the teachers.
But what we're concerned about is the budget process going off the rails, aren't we, really? Because of that. And we sort of...
Vote against the ABRS.
I mean, you could say that, you know, keep it in financial, and then say something like, in addition to the students and families, so you're giving a little bit of credence to, or, you know, you're being
Yeah, highly
empathetic,
detrimental to the
but
budget
it's,
process,
yeah,
as well as the students.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we can just throw that in, I
Yeah.
guess, yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
No, I think it's fine.
I need some clean up. It's not...
John? You
No.
feel like I feel like we're gonna put this away and be like, wait, one more thing.
Okay. Gone.
Sincerely.
Sincerely.
Best
Tony.
regards is a total Tony thing.
Warmly.
It's a little bit
Is it-
English,
what's
it's
that
a little
say?
bit,
What's
no,
that say?
I like best regards.
I type best regards probably 40 times a day.
Or regard, I like best regards is fine. That's just really Tony.
Comma.
You put a comma after regards, if that makes.
Okay. You got it, John.
We're from England. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, then. Good. I will clean up and send.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay.
Okay, next is reserve fund transfer. There is no reserve fund transfer.
Have we had any this year?
You have one, yeah. It's on the agenda.
Oh, yes, we did one, yeah.
FY26 budget. Any further audit update, Rajon or Hongwa?
Like the auditors?
Yeah, there's an audit going on right downstairs at the Treasurer's office.
I just unmuted the treasurer in case she has something she'd
Yeah.
like to add.
I mean, I had reached out to the Roselli and Clark, the auditors, went to see if they complete the FY25 audit. They
Yeah.
said by the end of this month, they're hoping to get that done.
The end of
Right.
February.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Emily had a question about going back a bit further, I think, in the audit, when she spoke to me about it. Maybe we should, Emily.
She's on Zoom.
Yeah.
Hi.
Emily, yeah, hi, you had a question
no,
about
it
going
was-
back further, right?
So I know that the cash, sorry, long day. The person that was brought in, the consultant was brought in to do the cash recon. I know that she sent Roselli an updated cash book to end FY25. Just my question was, now that we've sort of like found all these corrections and repostings, things like that, does for FY26 should cash recon sort of happen again for July through December once we get December clean?
Oh, so for this year?
Yep.
And I said it was a pretty good question for Mike and Honghua to talk about.
Well, that's when the Roselli had mentioned that to me about that cash book. They just got that last week
Right.
from the consultant, so that's when they told me that they'll get that audit for the 25 done, and they haven't mentioned anything about that 26, but I
But-
can ask them.
But is this, did the consultant mention July 1st through December 31st? Or are you just asking if we should do July 1st through December 31st? I'm just trying to,
I was just asking for this fiscal year. I do just, like I said, as we found, the issues that we're cleaning up, just so for the next fiscal audit, should we redo the cash recons that we've, that have happened so far? And then I haven't heard when the auditors are coming back for the FY25 audit.
They're not coming back. They do it off-site to
Okay.
finish the audit.
So, but there are still questions, it sounds like, Emily, that you have or concerns that you have. Is that right?
It's really just more for this current year.
Right.
Like, things that we've fixed, should we go back and do, new cash recons for this fiscal year?
yes.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like there's some concerns, Honghua, that we need to look into, I think.
Because if we do that, then that's through December 31st, and basically that's when you've started. And so you're starting with a clean slate, which I totally get, having been in, kind of banking operations, that's where you want to start.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that makes perfect sense, because then we have an audit through 12/31, not an audit, but reconcilement,
Yeah.
and then we start fresh. And then you know that this year's numbers at the end of the year are all correct. We're not going to go back again. The auditors will have all that information.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad idea.
Well,
I just don't want to have to, like you just said, have to go back and be like, oh, what the heck happened, July, August, September.
Yeah.
Bring in a person again, which is, time and money. If it just kind of makes sense to start again, as, efficiently as possible.
Well, like when we found out that, Emily coming in December, that's when we reach out to consultants, say, hey,
Right.
can we do a clean slate from July to December to have a clean cash book?
Do we
for
have
her?
that?
And that's what, the consultant had provided that, to Emily.
So we have that, you're saying?
No. Do you have that, Emily?
So I have the cash book that, yes, I am making my entries for December, January, and February, and I meant the overall cash recon that accounting would do.
Yes, so I am working with that consultant. I'm meeting with her another week or so.
Okay, so let's let you guys take that offline and
Yeah.
come back next time and tell us where you are with that.
Yeah.
I think because I think there's still some questions. It sounds like. Okay, and then the other thing on the FY26 is the dashboard. I know you've been away, Hong Wah, but next week you promised
Yeah.
me the dashboard.
Yeah.
We can review those next week.
Yeah.
Great. So FY27 budget. So I got from Mike today an updated town budget.
Yes, his model.
His model, yeah.
Actually, you mind if I share it? Because
Do you want to share it? Yeah, sure, yeah.
yeah, let me share.
Has it changed since you sent it out?
Yeah, because we included the updated budget numbers for the treasurer collector in there.
Okay.
Sophie, could you make me a co-host?
You're a co-host now.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the updated model, and the areas that are highlighted are the areas that we've updated for the for this model. So total expenses, that includes the new school assessment number as well as the budget updates that we made today. Also with the new growth in the local receipts and the state aid were the numbers we updated as well. And then the debt exclusion, Mike went ahead and added the 116K to the 650 for the debt exclusion.
Okay.
Do we know how this compares to last? It's hard for me.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
these
well-
numbers are not in context for me.
Well,
So.
well, I
like-
sent you my model was sent as well today, so you can see my model. if you want.
And is it
Yeah, but
based on the
yours
same
It's
stuff?
on the same, it says he just updated his though.
Sorry?
I don't think yours are gonna match. You just updated yours, right?
Yes, we just updated.
Well, yeah.
But that's okay because it's at least then I.
Well, mine is the same ClearGov number in it.
Yeah,
Yes.
these are, yeah.
Nope, yours that you sent today is not the same ClearGov number.
it?
No,
Yeah.
ClearGov total expenses, 30,952,108. 30,996,528.
Yeah, so they're out of sync a little bit.
Yeah,
Not much,
yeah.
but, and where does this land us from last week with the ClearGov? Did we go up, did we go down, where are
We
these
went
changes?
up a little bit in ClearGov.
And is it because of the assessment? Because I know the assessment went up by,
It's the
Sure.
No,
assessment.
that was already increased last week, wasn't it?
It's the assessment plus we increased, we made edits to the treasurer collector's budget based on recommendations we got from her.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So total expenses went up or down relative to last week?
It went up.
Expenses went up. And did you make an adjustment on the revenue side?
Yeah, so we made the new growth number 150 and we increased the revenues for the local receipts and then for the state aid. We used the state aid number from the governor's budget.
And that number was higher than what you had originally forecasted?
It was actually lower. I believe we estimated about 410 for the state aid, and it actually came in at 391.
It looks like between Tony's model and this model, it's just the assessment that changed.
Right. Which is that, sorry,
The
Acton Boxborough.
oh, sorry, the opposite, the non-Foxborough, yeah. So just the operating budget, non-ABRSD changed.
I don't understand it, because I took my ClearGov this afternoon, so did it change after, like, mid-afternoon?
Yeah, because we made updates around 2 p.m.
I took mine after 2 p.m., I'm sure.
and it would be great if we could get a list of these updates, because there's no, it's fine that we're sitting here, but like, we're looking at a budget, and then we make a change, however much it is, $5, $10, $100,000. It's hard to like chase that stuff down.
Right.
This is not a clear, I go back to, I don't like the way this is presented to us, not this model, but that. Like, that is not clear, it's not easy to see change, so.
Yeah.
At least some kind of list attached to it, so we understand.
I can tell you what changed between the two versions. So here's the version today that I had, which comes with 39,66528. So what's the number we have on the screen here? Oh, sorry.
So that's what that number is, but your
Yeah.
model that you sent is 30,952.
Yeah, I must have made a mistake in the model then. So
Okay, so the
Yeah.
budget's the same,
yeah,
but if we could just, as we get these weekly updates or whatever updates you do week to week, just let us know what those are.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
do those answer the questions that we have? So we had some questions on the treasurer's
so
budget.
let me share then, if I can. I'm going to share what we have in terms of a model. This model here. So what this shows here is today's numbers. So it comes to a total of 39,66528. These are last week's numbers, and these are the changes: 130,633.
So,
So what changed? So what,
yeah,
here's what changed. The only thing that changed actually was the treasurer's line, I think, 145, and the debt servicing, 710, between the two models.
Can you just create a quick calculation in L, just to do the delta between the two, and quickly find it, or?
What is this delta?
well, we know what it is.
That's the
That's
debt
the delta,
service.
Oh, right there, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
There's the change. What happened in the treasurer's though? Because that was on our list of questions that we had for the treasurer right back from budget. It was about tax title
Yeah.
and training. So it was about $15,000. So did we increase it by 15,000?
Increased by 14,000.
Yes, we increased the tax title, we increased the training, and we increased the, it was the dues. And it was the services as well.
Okay, so that should be, we should cross that off our list of questions, right?
Yeah. So
Just a quick question. Are you maintaining that through time by just taking snapshots of ClearGov every week?
yeah,
There's no date function,
no.
there's no like dating the database on
No,
this?
so at least the way we
No.
used to have it is every version we get version 1, and then we'd have version 2, so we
Right.
could go back and look at
Exactly.
version 1.
Well,
This is, we
Well,
update it.
Well, I have
and
all
there's
the old downloads.
I know,
I know, but that's,
but you have it, and God
Yeah.
forbid your computer gets like, I don't know,
Yeah.
trampled by an elephant. Like,
Yeah.
we need to like be able to, or you decide to run for select board at some point, because you're really great and you make a great select board member. Who's gonna do this? You can't depend on, that somebody has that skill. Like, I certainly don't have that skill.
Right.
And we can't depend on people being able to do that, or having the time, frankly.
Yeah.
So we need to come up with a better system next year. This is the system we're stuck with this year. But we need to come up with something better than us having to maintain this every week.
Yeah. I don't know what the answer is though, really.
Well, maybe ClearGov's not the answer in general then. We need to figure it out, right? Because it just,
But I feel that the old version was not the answer either. That was
No.
a bit-
no,
that
no,
was a-
no,
that
which
was
is
a
why we had to
very
move away
clunky-
from that. But
clunky
it's like,
spreadsheet.
right. This doesn't work because there's too much there's too much time that has to go into manually getting these numbers to people.
Yeah.
And you need to do that, and that's great. But
Yeah.
literally, you may not be on the FinCom in a year.
Well,
And then who
the
does
problem
that?
today was it was all having late. So
Yeah, I
it
understand
doesn't
that.
give you guys time to look at it even once it's come out. So
Right.
that's
Correct.
not ideal.
Right.
It'd be great if even when you go on ClearGov, if anything had been changed since the last time you logged in or looked at it, it's highlighted and it tells you what the change was.
Yeah, but-
Like when you look at a portfolio or,
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
that tracks numbers.
Yeah.
And then for same thing on the download, like if it came at a regular frequency and it just showed you what was different between this and the last export. It's a pretty simple concept.
It should be, but I
Yeah.
don't think ClearGov, I don't know, it just seems, I don't know.
They were just
Not
on,
as
I just heard them on the
user-friendly as
radio,
it should be.
being announced. It was like the Boston Business Journal, and they're like, this new company, ClearGov's going to revolutionize how
This new
municipalities
company.
do their
Right,
budgeting.
right.
They're working on
Where
it.
did you see that?
It was on NPR
They're
last
working
week.
on it, and
Yeah,
we're the
so-
guinea
Yeah, we're the
pigs.
pet prototype.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
I always thought this was a beta version.
And
The
they're-
news was they're leaving the Boston area.
Yeah, that's your
They got acquired and they're leaving.
Is that
Was
true?
that it? I thought they're in Maynard
They're
now, right?
rated now, yeah.
They were in Maynard, but they're leaving.
That's
I thought it might have
fabulous.
been they're in Maynard moving to Boston or something, no?
No.
That's great.
Either
So
way,
we
it was,
acquired-
it was
We
basically.
purchased a software
like a
program,
startup,
and
so-
now we're not gonna have, it's a startup, and now we're not gonna have that kind of personal touch, because it's getting absorbed. So
Yeah.
next year, we can use QuickBooks. We can get the information.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Okay.
It's got potential.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I should go back to what was the bottom line, Rajon, on, if you look at your model, shall I share again?
30,966,528.
So what's our buffer between maximum allowable levy and the levy limit?
I just did it a second ago, and it was 770,000, which is the exact number of the debt exclusion. So like, if we didn't have those as debt exclusion, we're at exactly zero.
That sounds like, right, yeah.
Wait, what?
No, it's 1.154.
Yeah, it's 1.154.
Yeah.
One. Hold on, I took the,
It's significantly different than mine now.
hold on.
Good or bad different? In that it's higher?
It's,
than-
it's lower. So mine is higher, which is,
Your version is higher.
I have more debt capacity, excess levy capacity, excuse me, in mine. But again,
Mine is higher as well. Mine is 1.354.
yeah, I don't, but I don't have, I keep finding it's up here, I'm up to 1.5.
Okay, so this is Rajon. What are you? 1 point what?
I'm 1.35. He's 1.5.
1.35, and you're 1 point,
5, but
Oh,
I'm,
yeah, I see.
I have the least amount of updates.
John, and Tony. So,
And we were close as of this afternoon.
Yeah, right.
Let's see what I did.
fabulous.
Just at the average.
Is that what we're gonna do? We're just gonna guess?
Well, no,
Stab
no.
in the dark?
I think it's a good exercise, right? Because we should then compare the inputs and pressure test them, right?
Yes, but I'm gonna tell you now, we need to make, like, 1.1 has got to be the absolute bottom in my mind, right?
Yeah, I
And
agree.
we-
Yeah.
And so,
We've still got the option of making the reserve fund from free cash.
so I've had a lot of thoughts about that.
Yeah.
When do we wanna discuss that?
I think I was going to, well, before town meeting, before the town meeting rolled together.
Well, right, which would really, we start reviewing those articles on Saturday.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, that's
Right,
yeah,
so we should have that conversation, cause it
Yeah.
falls under this.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think there are pro and con arguments for it. But it gives us an option to help the budget a little bit.
So we wanna keep that open,
That concept,
the concept, so that's about 170,000.
yeah.
So we need to, as we're going through funding sources on Saturday, we have to kind of pull 170 out of the free cash number that we have,
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And keep that there.
Does it have to be in whole? Like, could you fund it from two different sources, or does it have to be from one source?
Well, it would be either raise and appropriate, or it would be free cash, because
Okay.
there's no other sources.
But you couldn't say we're going to elect to fund it 50% of it with free cash and raise and appropriate the other half.
We
That's-
could do that,
Just curious.
but what I was
It's
thinking
complicated, yeah.
Yeah.
is, if we can keep it in the budget, I guess the whole kind of trying to catch up, and it's gonna be a year delay with the budget, right? So that was one of the things that I think
Yeah.
we really need to think through.
Yeah,
So-
plus, yeah,
I'm actually noticing one thing here. Can you just pan up one row?
it's.
Yeah,
very
so,
good.
so is that indicating that we're using 1.7 million of free cash?
Yes.
For what?
So the 1.7, this is for the capital
Covering
plan.
ATM.
And no bonding in that, actually.
Yeah, so Mike, how he put the estimates together for this is if we went through this capital planning period and just use free cash instead of bond, and he put the 1.7 essentially.
And then the rest of it is CPC funds.
Yes, CPC.
I didn't realize it was that high, CPC. I don't think that's a bad place to go into Capital Saturday with, because we have the free cash, but it's a discussion on Capital Saturday.
Yeah.
But for this, I mean, the problem with that is if we add debt to it, then we're gonna lose our capacity, right? Because if we have to fund debt, we're gonna have to build in interest into next year's budget.
Yeah, and that's a whole other conversation I think we need to have
Yeah.
about.
Right.
But 1.7 is a big chunk of free cash, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think we should use that much free cash for funding capital items, actually.
So here, even if we use that amount, we'll still have, the excess free cash will still be over $1 million. And
right, but we're going into next year. It needs to be more planning. We need to have more discussion around, I don't even know what's on the list for Saturday, right? So, it seems like an awful lot of money if we're not buying fire trucks, and I don't think we're buying fire trucks, so. We need to have that conversation, because we're going into next year presumably with an override. And so, there's excess free cash, but we need to figure out what we're gonna do next year, because if we get an override next year, bonding's gonna be really tough. And buying stuff's gonna be really tough, so we need to make sure we have a little bit of, and I still think we need to talk about whether we take some of this free cash and put it into stabilization.
Yeah,
For this reason,
Yeah.
because there seems to be this, like, we have a free cash cushion. I've heard the select board
I've
members say
heard
it
that said
too.
as well, and I don't think that's a good
No, it's, just,
concept.
yeah, it's like we have a
Yeah.
retirement fund, so we should buy a house on the beach. Well,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
that's not what it's for.
Yeah.
So we have to, so if you take some and put in stabilization, it takes 2/3 to take it back out of stabilization to
Yeah.
use.
Yeah.
But I mean, I suppose we can have that conversation on Saturday.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so that's just an assumption by Mike, I think. Again, my model had bonding of $2 million in there, actually.
So you've bonded most of it.
Yeah,
Right. And I think we need to do a combination. I mean, I think if
Yeah.
it's a big truck that we're gonna
Yeah.
have for 20 years,
yeah,
then maybe we need to bond it. But if
Yeah.
it's, a lawnmower, then we
Yeah.
should pay out of free cash.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
gonna be a $50,000 lawnmower, but the
Yeah,
point
yeah.
is that,
yeah.
so that'll end up being a little bit different, I think.
Yeah, so that's a
so,
discussion.
so should we hold off on these estimates until after Capital Saturday to where we identify the funding sources and then rework the model from there?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think once we go through the items on Saturday, we're going to have to sort of make that discussion, I think, about how we fund them and what the sort of parameters are. So I don't think we're going to get to a situation where we're going to fund it all out of free cash.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a combination of free cash and bonding.
Mhm.
As you-
When are we gonna know, when are we gonna have that information, Rajan? Not in the presentation, because I know that you have a presentation, but usually Mike has a list of all the items, all the articles, basically.
Yeah.
Not numbered by article, but like every article, and it's got the columns so that we can move the sources. Do we gonna have that for Saturday, and do we know when?
Yeah, I can work with Mike on that tomorrow to get that out in advance. I sent out the template for that yesterday,
Right.
and Tony sent a revised one, but I can work on the capital plan.
Just the
spreadsheet.
sheet that you then usually put into the model, don't you? Last year you had it
Yeah.
in the model.
Yeah.
So that we can have it all tie in.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
easier to work. The presentation's great because that gives us individual things, but we're gonna have all
Yeah,
of
that
this
sheet
other
comes from
stuff.
Mike initially.
Yeah,
So
Um,
that list.
So I can work
yes,
with
yeah.
Mike and get the sheet out to everybody.
Yeah, and you know which one I'm talking about, but the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
like last year.
Yeah.
So then that also, and then we also have the different funding sources that we can go in and change and manipulate.
And we also got a capital plan, which
Right.
should mimic the capital plan
Right.
to some extent, right? I mean,
Yes, and I think that's what he
Yeah.
does. I
Yeah.
think he takes that information
Yeah.
from the capital plan, but then adds
Yeah.
the funding sources to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, are you gonna be here, John?
Yeah, actually, well, we got it pulled up right here. We can just fill it in and give it to you.
And that will have all the warrant articles, right? Because it's not just, it's gonna be, not just equipment, it's gonna have, like, I know we're not doing the $30,000 assessment, but assessor's thing, but if we had, that's all gonna be listed on there.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you wanna talk to Mike about adding the stabilization as a placeholder?
yeah, I would do, yeah.
So that we can
Yeah.
work that in on Saturday?
Yeah.
John, can you share this with us? Can you send it?
Yeah, no problem. I can email this.
Appreciate
Yes,
it.
you have this.
Did he send it?
I sent it this
No.
afternoon.
Yeah.
You did?
In the
At
package,
6
yeah.
o'clock. so
Okay.
that you may not have seen it.
Yeah.
I'll resend the one I just,
It's a new version. Did it change? I sent it out this afternoon to everybody, but did it change since then?
so the one I just showed,
Is new.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And are we gonna talk Saturday on how much we would think for stabilization, or do you wanna
I think
talk
so.
tonight?
Yeah. I think
Saturday?
we can talk. We can talk now about that. Let's discuss that.
Gary, what do we, in the past, do you remember how much is it usually? It's usually like $500,000, between 250 and a half?
From mine, like we've done for OPEB, I think that was comparable.
Well, we have guidelines, right?
Yeah,
It's supposed to be 5%
Yeah, 5%.
of the operating budget, and it's slightly below that now, I think, or will be slightly below that. So we need to.
We're short how many hundreds of thousands of dollars?
Yeah, that's what that. Well, that is knowable.
And so
Because
you're worried about doing this because it's hard to get the money out, basically.
No, I don't, well, first of all, I wanna get back up to the guideline, but, when we have excess free cash, we've done this in the past where we've taken 300 to $500,000 and stuck it into stabilization, because it's a lot easier to spend free cash when you have it there than, because it's just, the vote's a majority vote.
When you have it in free cash.
And we have it in free cash and it's a majority vote, versus if it's stabilization, it's a 2/3 vote.
Right.
It's also town policy, at the end of fiscal year, if we're below the 5% threshold on the stabilization fund, that we fund it with free cash, up to the 5%.
So it's right now it's 1.564. It's actually above the target for this year.
26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 26, yeah. So, and if budget next year, if you just take 5% of our budget next year, which I can't do in my head.
The 27,
The 27 budget, yeah.
Which is what? What's the 27 budget?
The operating budget's going to be.
it's 30,966.
So it would be 4.9.
I knew I would need my calculator. Do I need my calculator?
Do it on the calculator.
I thought Mr.
So,
Mr. Numbers there was gonna be able to do it. I can't do it in my head, I don't pretend I
well, you
can.
have a calculator now. So.
Yeah, I'm working on
I'm Mr. Fine Numbers, not process numbers.
it. Times, what'd we say, 5%?
Yeah.
39. Half of that is
It should be
10% is 3 million. 1.55% is
1,
5% is
1.548.
Yeah.
So we're above the target already.
We are above the target
Yeah.
already. But I still think that doesn't mean that we can't take money and put it into stabilization.
But we don't have a requirement.
Yeah.
We don't have a
What's
requirement.
the policy say, Joe?
As far as
Stabilization
if we can go higher, or?
Yeah, it just says it needs to be a minimum
Yeah, is there
of,
an
right?
upper-
Yeah, I think it's just a minimum.
A minimum of 5%.
Let me see.
So, should we be putting money in stabilisation when we're coming up to an override?
We have $4 million in free
Yeah.
cash, $4.2 million. I don't think our free cash has ever been that high. Even when you consider it as a percent of the budget, that's still very high.
I think in any given year, you can't appropriate more than 10% of the prior year's tax levy into the stabilization fund, I think is the only guideline.
How much? 10%?
10% of the prior year's levy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
That's not gonna happen.
that's quite a bit.
Yeah, so maybe we put in $500,000.
I'd be happy with, 250, 300,000.
$50,000.
I mean, just to take some money and squirrel it away. I mean, I don't know, in my head, you squirrel it away, it's a lot harder to take it out, right?
I understand that, but
And people need to think more about it. And when we use it, people need to think more about it. And we very rarely use it, but I feel like we have the free cash and we're coming into what we know is gonna be a difficult year next year. It's not bad to have a rainy day account, and it's not bad to keep adding to that. We haven't deposited in stabilization in years.
Do we need to vote to move money into the
Yeah.
stabilization
Yeah.
fund? Yeah.
The
With
town
The town
simple
meeting.
majority at town
Yeah.
meeting, yeah.
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 And by the
2/3.
way, it helps with the bonding to have a strong stabilization,
Yeah.
bonding rating.
Yeah, and 2/3 to take it out.
Yeah. I think we should put some in. Because I think as time goes on, that number's going to get closer and closer to our 5% anyway. So I think we should do it anyway. Hey, Alan.
Okay.
You have a seat over there, by the way, but on the microphone. Yeah. Okay.
200K?
So what are you comfortable with?
200K?
200?
250?
Done. 250?
250?
Yeah.
You do a bid thing?
225? No, that's-
Do I hit
250?
275?
I'm good.
I wish there were a more precise way of doing it, but
So what are we saying? 250?
yeah.
Great.
I'm on board.
Thanks. I think that's good. I know it's really hard for John to do this without a plan or a formula.
Okay.
I also think it shows that the town that we're trying to be as fiscally responsible
Yeah.
and you know, kind of making sure that we're gonna be good to the future.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
okay,
Okay. So,
so we have to add that to.
to the agenda, yeah. I'll
Yeah.
talk to Mike about that.
Is
Okay,
that just a consensus, or are you gonna vote it?
Do we need to vote it?
Probably not, just asking.
Because we'll,
not yet, we'll vote it
we'll
when
vote
it's
it
a
when
warrant
it comes
article.
up, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's a consensus.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So before I move on then to voting on the line items, Alan McLean's here, so I think we'll have Alan speak about the cost of living increase. Thanks for coming in, Alan.
Sure, thanks for having me.
So, shall I share your slides on the screen? Does that make sense?
That would be great if you could do that. Thank you.
Alan McLean is the chair of the Personnel Board, and each year the Personnel Board do an assessment of what the cost of living increase should be for employees on the personnel plan. And there are a number of factors taken into account, like cost of living, you know, what is the actual cost of living increase, inflation, what do other towns do, that sort of thing. So Alan's got, you know, has a recommendation, which is 3%. It's sort of been voted on by myself, select board chair, town administrator. I agreed this number, but of course it has to go here as well. So Alan's come in to actually go through with us the logic behind that and why they're making that recommendation. So over to you, Alan.
Okay, well, thank you. So not to bury the lead at all, but the recommendation that I am bringing to you is for a 3% adjustment to the cost of living salary. It's cost of living salary adjustment for non-union, non-contract employees in town. So that's the specific group that this would apply to. And Tony, could you go to the next slide, please? Yep. Thank you. And so, and this slide here is a summary of probably the primary factors that we take into account when trying to come up with a recommendation for a COLA adjustment. And it's a protocol really that was put together primarily by the prior Personnel Board Chair, Lee Slade. And so we're trying to follow that, and the idea would be to follow that in future years as well, so we have some guidelines. But probably the most objective factor that we look at is a 3-year rolling average of the CPI data that's produced from the Department of Labor from our local region. So that's Boston, Cambridge, Newton is our local region. We look at that data, we evaluate it both from a fiscal year perspective, a calendar year perspective, and ultimately, I think what we found, although we look at all that data, is that the 3-year calendar year rolling period tends to be a good representative data point to look to. We also look at comparable town data, as Tony mentioned. We do have limited data, frankly, regarding other towns. Other towns are doing the same process at the same time as us, but we do have some. And then we use that data, that information, to make a recommendation. We also do take into account, though, the fact that most employees, so long as they receive a proficient rating, are going to receive a step increase of 2.5% automatically. And so the COLA adjustment would be on top of that. And so we do want to take that into account. And then The other factor that we consider is the employer of choice sort of goal that the town has for employees, town employees. And so that would sets a benchmark of 75% for town employees relative to comparable positions in other towns. It's also a focus on employee retention, employee development, some other details, but those are the types of things that we want to keep in mind as we go forward. So these are sort of some guideposts. It's not a mechanical calculation, but we do look at the data to hopefully get us there. And so the first slide here with the data is this is just raw data that's produced from the Department of Labor. Not terribly helpful, but this is the raw data that's used, and we can go to the next slide, Tony, to calculate these percentage changes year to year. And this is a little bit more useful in terms of the data. And so focusing on the bottom right-hand corner of the slide that is in the red font, if we can see the last two columns are going to show the average calendar year change and then the average fiscal year change year to year. And so we can start to get a sense that the calendar year change from 24 to 25 was 3.11%. And if we look at the fiscal year, it's similar, 3.21%. I did want to just point out on this slide the 2022 average inflation of 7.2%. That's a significantly higher number than pretty much all of the other years. And so the town and pretty much everyone has been trying to navigate what to do in light of that spike. And that's something that is a factor I think we should, and at least the Personnel Board has taken into consideration. And that 2022 number is going to roll, is no longer in the 3-year rolling average, right? So the data is going to look a little different this year as a result. If we could go to the next slide, Tony. This is the same data, just in graphical form, to the extent it's helpful to view it in this way. And you can see, in fact, the spikes going up and down, but in particular, that 7.2% spike really stands out on the graphical representation. And then the next slide has a comparison between the fiscal year and calendar year data, just to track and see if they're very different, if there's adjustments we may want to keep in mind. For the most part, they look fairly similar. Notably, this is year-to-year change, what this graph shows. They're very close this time around. It was 3.1%, 3.2%. So not really much difference if we look at the fiscal versus calendar. Although we have tended to focus on the calendar year data because that's the most recent data that we have. That's going to bring us up to the November data, November 2025 data. And so that has been typically the data point we've looked to when trying to come up with a recommendation. The next slide, this is the 3-year rolling number. And so this is, we look at the 3-year number maybe for obvious reasons, but the idea being to smooth out some of the up and down nature of the data. So the 3-year calendar year average is again in the lower right-hand corner in the red font. It's 3.34%. It's a little hard to see there, but so that's probably the most important data point that I would look to and that the board considered is that 3-year calendar year average, 3.34. But the fiscal year average is there as well, 4.02%. And again, I would note here that if you look at the year prior, the 3-year rolling average was much higher. It's about 4.64%. The year before that, 4.67%. And again, this is just alluding to that 2022 number no longer being part of that 3-year average. And so the numbers are going to reflect that. The next slide is just a graphical representation of that same data to the extent it's a little bit easier to digest in this format is all. So the next slide transitions into, okay, so what did we do in recent prior years? We can see last year was 2.7%, 3.3%, et cetera, going backwards. And so this is useful information, obviously, to have in mind as we're considering what to do this coming year. Moving to the next slide, Tony. This is the comparable town data that we have. So this isn't every town, but we do have a list of towns that we've identified as a town that have somewhat comparable demographics and other considerations. And so these towns, there's only a few towns that we have percentages for thus far. They do range from 2 to 3.25%, but most of them are trending, at least from what we can see thus far, closer to the average you can see is 2.38, and so on the lower end. But we also don't know what these other towns are going to be doing. And that's probably, I would suspect anyway, that other towns are dealing with budgetary issues as they're trying to come up with these, make these decisions as well. So this table here puts on the same page, for comparison purposes, the 3-year calendar rolling average of the CPI, and then with that, or across from it, the COLA adjustment that data was used for. This, I think, is a very helpful way to look at the information we have. And so one thing that I find challenging, you guys are probably much better at it than I, but we do need, I get confused. It's easy to get confused, I should say. We're talking about the fiscal year, COLA adjustment for fiscal year 2027, but we're talking about the 3-year rolling data up to the end of 2025. And so that, just to explain why the years look different here on the PowerPoint. So obviously I haven't put anything in for this coming fiscal year 27, but we can see in prior years. When I look at this, one thing I note is in the last 3 years, the adjustment has been significantly below the cost of living average over the 3 years. And I think that is in part because we, as a town, just as everyone else, was navigating that 2022 spike and trying to come up with a reasonable adjustment within, the budgetary constraints. So a 7% increase would have obviously been very, very difficult for the town. But if you look to the 3 years prior to that, fiscal year 23, 22, 21, the COLA increases are much closer to the actual 3-year rolling average, within 1% or 2%. And so that was a notable, that stood out to me anyway, as I was looking at that. The next slide is again an attempt to put that same data into a graphical representation to the extent it may be helpful to digest the information in that way. Apologies if my PowerPoint skills aren't really great on this one, but hopefully this is helpful to reflect the data. And then the last slide here just is a restatement of our recommendation of 3%. And I can give a little bit of further flavor for that, or a backdrop to how we arrived at that percentage, to the extent it's helpful. One factor that stood out again is that the 3% is closely aligned, I should say, with the actual 3-year calendar year rolling average. It's obviously slightly below it still. The 3-year was about 3.4. The adjustment that we're recommending is 3%. And so the last 3 years, we were much more below the 3-year average, notably. But if we remove that spike from the 2022 data, and we look to the prior years, that would be moving closer to the actual 3-year rolling average. I think would be more aligned with that approach. The other factor was a concern about trying to set a COLA adjustment that was more equitable relative to the union employees in town. The union employees are all, as I understand it, going to receive a 3% increase. And so there was some consideration of that factor and related employee retention concerns around that. Another data point that came up during conversations about this was Social Security has made a 2.8% cost of living increase for calendar year. I think that started in January already, but it was a notable data point that we did take into consideration. And then related, this is probably tied up in all of this, is the employer of choice goal that the town has. General retention concerns around employees, keeping them, I don't want to use the word happy, but engaged. And so we don't have to incur the costs of additional turnover to the extent we can. In terms of the dollars that we're talking about, percentages are good to consider, but the actual dollar amount, which you may already have, but as I understand it, the estimate for 3% would be $29,891 would be the cost of the 3% increase. That does not include the cost of per diem firefighters, reserve and police officers. And so there could be some fluctuation, but that's at least a dollar amount that you can have in front of you for consideration. The Personnel Board did consider a slightly lower number, 2.5%. But ultimately, we obviously voted to recommend the 3%. And really, I won't restate all of the same reasons why we made that recommendation, other than to note that if you look at the amount of the 3-year rolling average last year versus this year, you could reasonably come to the conclusion, I think, well, last year we did 2.7%. The 3-year average is less this year. Shouldn't we have a lower number this year? I think there's some logic to that. But the same reasons I mentioned earlier are why we chose 3%. But with respect to that argument in particular, I think what we did is, in part, we took a step back and looked at a larger set of years as opposed to just last year. And if we do that, say the 6 or 7 year period, we can see that looking back, a 3% increase would be more closely aligned with the actual 3-year average, which is what we were doing as a town based on the numbers prior to that 2022 increase. And so, although there is some logic to just looking at last year's numbers and coming up with the lower amount, we thought that this year it made sense to come up with the 3%. So, so that's a summary of how we come up with the 3% number. Thanks for having me here and listening to me. I'm happy to talk further or answer any questions if that would be helpful.
Any questions?
That was very informative. I think there's a lot of trends you can pretty easily see that 3 is not out of line. I don't think in any way. There was guidance to keep it in check, but I don't think this is egregious. Seems totally above board and makes sense to me.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine, we need to keep in mind that the steps are 2.5%, so the average is a 5.5% increase. So, it is, that's something to keep in mind. I'm not saying it should be or shouldn't be, but certainly.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what is the purpose of a step? I mean, because, I mean, this is clearly
A
what
step
it's supposed
reflects you
supposed to be doing.
presumably gaining more experience in the job over time. Right?
Yeah, you're more valuable. You've
Yeah.
another year under your belt.
And this is cost of living adjustment.
I figured that out. Okay.
Yeah,
The cost of living adjustment is 3%
Right.
is accurate.
right.
Yeah.
The step thing I have issue with,
That's-
because that's only in municipal life and in school life, right? Like in the real world, you don't just get a 2.5% increase because you weren't dead on the first day of the new year. So it truly, so I don't always understand that. And for a while, we actually looked at going
Yeah,
to merit,
well-
which is what Harvard has.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad idea. They do a combination of, they don't have steps, so they do a combination of COLA and merit. I like that idea better, but that's just my personal opinion. It was too difficult to
Right.
try to do that with the school, but,
Yeah,
you
and
know.
but this is also a subset of the employee population, right? So some are on collective bargaining agreements and they get their amount, and some are on contracts and get their amount. So it's a subset.
Right, and I mean, I certainly am not picking on this group, because this is
Yeah.
probably the lowest paid
Yeah,
in town, and some of the hardest working people that, like, you know, I've dealt with in town hall. They're great.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not picking on this group. I'm just saying that it's the 3% plus the step, so it's about a 5.5% increase.
Yeah.
So, and you know, whether or not we decide to do merit at some point, that's a whole nother
it's another issue.
conversation.
Yeah.
Will you be coming back to talk about, I've looked at some of the changes that, did you send this out last week? I've seen some of the changes that you're looking to do to the personnel plan.
Okay.
On regrading jobs.
Yes.
And I actually, are you gonna come back and discuss that with us before town meeting?
I can, if you'd like.
Is
No.
that going to be a warrant article?
It's gonna be a warrant article. It's gonna be Article 4 usually.
Okay.
Which includes, it's usually two parts. It includes the COLA adjustment to the salary scale, but also any changes to the personnel plan. I have some concerns around why we're doing the regrading, the need for it, because that's gonna, if you regrade a job and you go up in a grade, that's gonna affect the budget. And I know we haven't had a salary survey since, I think, 2020, because it was COVID. It was right before COVID that we got those results.
Yeah.
So, I hear a lot of, well, we're not paying as much as other towns. Well, how do we know that? We haven't had a real salary survey, and I'm not talking about let me put it out on my listserv. I'm talking about getting an independent consultant to do a salary survey
Yeah.
in 7 years. And now we're starting to regrade some jobs. So I guess I have some questions around that.
So how does that tie in then with the saying in the budget guidance, no elevations of grades? I mean, so
I don't know, and so I know that there's some, I haven't been to their meeting, so I don't know exactly which jobs you're regrading,
Yeah.
but I know that there's some jobs that are regrading, and if we have people in those positions and they get regraded and they get agreed to on town meeting, we're gonna have to, if you're on step 5 and step 5 is a $10 job right now, and we regrade it and step 5 is a $15 job after the regrading and it gets approved at town meeting, we need to be budgeting for that. I just
well,
don't know.
I don't see how we can take it to town meeting if we've already said no, essentially no regradings, right, in the budget guidance.
I know, so that was some of my concern, but I don't have a lot of detail, and
Yeah.
because the times of your meeting makes it difficult for me to get to your meetings.
understand.
But, so I really would like to talk about that, once you have that,
Yeah.
all the personnel plan, because there's other changes to personnel plans that can affect the budget.
Sure.
If you add vacations, you know, whatever. So, but that in particular has me concerned, and I know we're adding a position, which we don't currently have.
What position?
They're adding on to they're not adding a person, they're adding a position onto the compensation plan, or the
The sustainability.
the
Yeah, the
sustainability,
conservation
land
agent,
steward,
yeah,
agent,
yeah.
so that's like a whole new position.
Well, yeah, so that was discussed, I was at the personnel board when that
Right.
was discussed. It's basically, it's not a position, it's that they're creating
A job.
A description of a job,
Right,
basically,
right.
which doesn't exist.
Which doesn't currently exist.
Doesn't exist, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
but we also don't have any kind of comparison on salaries with other towns, because again, we don't have a salary survey. So those are all kind of questions I have around the regrading, the creating of new positions, how we're grading those positions. I have more of a question for Mike, like, why do we even need these positions added?
Yeah.
Because once they're added, next year, we could just start adding people into those positions. So, but I'm really concerned about the regrading and what effect that could have on the budget.
Sure,
So-
sure. I mean, we have not done the regrading yet, although it is, I'm
It's-
not disagreeing, it certainly is planned to
Yeah,
review these job descriptions and potentially regrade them.
this year, right, for this
Yes,
town meeting?
yes, that is
right,
what we are
Which would
discussing,
affect the
yeah.
27
Yeah.
budget,
Yeah.
so.
I don't think we could vote for that, actually.
Exactly, so, but
Yeah.
again, I wanna understand it better, so I'd like the
Yeah.
information, what you're looking at, cause I could be talking about, a position that doesn't exist, it could be a
Yeah.
contractual position that doesn't get changed for 3 years, I don't know, I just know that there's regrading going on.
Right,
And
right.
you're right, I don't think I could vote for that either, because
Yeah.
we very specifically said, we're not regrading, we're not promoting,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
not,
yeah,
yada,
yeah,
yada,
yeah,
yada, so.
yeah.
Yeah, and we do have an understanding of that, and so
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna try to navigate that as best we can, but I'm certainly happy to come, when we have a better handle on whether
Yeah.
we're even looking at regraded positions, which it looks like we may be.
Yeah.
Certainly to talk to you. And the one position in particular, the conservation agent, which is an entirely new position, that there's, just to confirm, my understanding is that is not expected or going to be requested to be funded this year or maybe even next year. I guess that's to be
Yeah.
I
determined.
read an
but
article.
A future.
I read an article in Boxborough News,
Mhm.
I think, that kind of indicated that not this year, but probably next year. But I don't know
Right.
where I saw that information. I think it was in the Boxborough News. So,
That's probably,
you know,
that sounds like
so-
accurate information, I should say. So,
but that's like a real position with
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
real
yeah, yeah,
benefits and all of that, so.
Well, and that'll be in an override year, potentially.
Yeah, so.
So,
you
good
know,
luck.
But again, that's different. It really is the grading that I want to understand
Yeah.
better, so.
Yeah.
And we should have that conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, presumably, when do you think you're going to get to that? Because we need to have.
at
that
our next
conversation.
meeting in February, the plan is to
Yeah.
review and grade those positions, and so we'll have a better understanding, or should. The expectation is the personnel board viewing the revised job description as requiring regrading, which potentially upward, which would in fact cost the town more if that
Right,
was
you're
the
not going
case.
to go down.
Yeah,
right?
that
If
is
you've
not
got
the
someone-
expectation.
If it's my job and I'm here, you're not going down on my salary, you're only going to go up or stay the same.
Yes, understood.
So,
Yeah.
I think there also has been discussion about a salary survey, and so we have been discussing that as well. I don't know if there's something even in the budget
It's
for
in the-
that, actually.
I have to check, but it was in the capital plan. I think it might be for next year.
For next
Because I
year,
think we have like 15,000 allocated for like a total compensation study.
yeah, because I really think that as you're going to start regrading positions, it is irrelevant what our job description says. It needs to also be there's got to be some reality in the market. I know we want to be employer of choice, but we
Yes.
also it has to be based in reality, right?
Could just push you
on
higher,
one
too,
side
though.
or the other.
Could just push you higher if everyone around you is
It
paying
could,
really well,
but you
too,
know
so.
what? It could, but.
That would be
but-
the right thing. I'm just
right.
saying, it's not like
just
it's gonna protect
understanding-
us from anything. It
Right,
could-
no, I'm not expecting that, because that's what happened last time. We had to go in and do salary adjustments for employees. But at least we have something that's real and tangible, and we understand that this is the market, in our market. It's not gonna be, it's gonna be our market which is comparable towns that equals, its affordability and its size and all sorts of different criteria. And if it
Okay.
says we need to pay more, we need to pay more, but we certainly shouldn't be regrading without having some knowledge of where we're at,
So
so.
we'll keep in touch, Alan, on that.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
sounds great.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Yeah,
coming in.
thanks for having me, and thanks for accommodating me this evening. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay, let's go back to voting process. So, what we have here
This is off of what you sent this afternoon, right?
correct, yeah. So everything green, Mike says we can vote, and some have already voted. So, and then in grey were the questions we had.
From last time?
from last time, yeah.
Oh, all right, so we've added some of the green.
We added a couple of greens, yeah, so Mike says the counter can be voted now and the treasurer can be voted now.
Did we revise the accountant's position? Or not position, but like, didn't we have a question? We had questions on these, that's why.
Yeah, and I can't remember what the questions were. Well,
Do you have them?
well, the questions one here is training and consultancy were the questions.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember what the exact question was though.
Want me to pull up the minutes from last meeting?
Yeah, that'd be helpful, Gary, yeah, thank you.
For which,
13, was the accountant, 135 we were talking about. Let's go look at here, let's see what's,
We had it in that computer list of questions that you had.
yeah.
I just have finance director and I have a salary number. I don't know.
So
I
what
don't think
here's,
we discussed it at all. I think we went right over it.
I think you held off on those budgets.
Right, but Mike's now saying it's settled, so,
yeah.
um,
So the training conference budget is $5,000. Last year we spent $5,000.
so do we keep that the same?
This is where it's the what was the FY26 budget? Yeah, FY26 was 5,000 as well. So that didn't change actually. Yeah. So that sounds like it's the right number. Right, we spent it in 25. So what is that, Hongmar? Do you know what the conference budget is? You presumably it's going to conferences, right, and
Yeah.
training. Yeah.
So it has to, so it's the same budget as 5,000, and we
Yeah,
had spent
yeah.
it like 5,200 last year.
So I'm not sure what the question was really, but I mean it sounds.
It says,
like
I have written down accountant training,
yeah.
so that's what I have written down, but I don't have any kind of
2 employees
context
twice
around
a
it.
year. In the note is 2 employees twice a year.
And maybe we were thinking is that last year you had, it's the same number as last year, and last year you had training because you were you were getting help, getting settled into the position, so is that the same number you need this year? I think
So-
that's what we talked about with the training.
So that line budget, all travel, training, and conference is all in one line, so it's for myself and Carly. For
Right.
travel, training, and conference, it's all in one line, the 5,000. So we budgeted the same by FY27.
I mean it's the same. I mean I don't have a problem with that number.
I don't have a problem either, but we asked if it was gonna be the same, if it was gonna go down, because the training for Hung-Wah, actually, she's already done her training, so
Right.
that's what
So
we're asking, but
Hung-Wah.
that's fine.
Do you think you'll need the same amount of training this year?
Right, because that's what we had it in for last year, was the
Yeah,
training.
yes, it's the training and the conference, it's like every
Yep,
year
we
for
understand
us.
that.
So we
So-
have like fall, there's fall, and there's one in March, and there's one in June, that UMass, the 3 days that Carly and I, all these training and conference,
Yep.
that Carly and I go every year.
And what about consulting? Because did we
So
use?
consultant, it's for 6,000 this year in FY27.
Mhm.
We had used that for the opera, for a consultant that we use to do the opera reporting. That is due, this year will be the final year we're doing it, and then we use them for the Schedule A and the balance sheet stuff.
So that's the same as last year.
Okay, so that's not gonna come down at all.
It came down to 6,000, from 7,000 to
Okay,
6,000.
so we lowered it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So shall we vote on this one?
Yeah, I mean, if that was a question, and that was
Yeah,
answered.
what's the number? Is it?
Can someone move to?
Do you wanna move it on?
Yeah, what's the number?
It's 135 accountant.
Yeah, okay, cool. I move that we recommend the accountant budget line 135 non-salary $63,925, salary $184,231, for a grand total of $248,156.
Second.
All in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
I need those numbers one more time, please.
Sure. It is non-salary 63,925, salary 184,231, grand total 248,156.
184,
231.
231, total 248,156.
You got it.
Thank you.
Okay, and then the assessors, that one was increased since
Oh,
last.
you didn't vote.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did vote, you missed it.
So the assessors, this one increased by 14,000 from the last time round.
It did?
Yeah.
The treasurer collector?
The treasurer, the 145.
No, that's treasurer collector,
Oh,
not assessor.
yeah, not assessor, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, yeah. Well, yeah, treasurer, 145 increased by 14,000, which is for the tax title
And training,
and training.
which that was our questions on that,
Yeah,
so.
so we can fully vote this one.
Did we get answers on those questions?
Well, they increased it.
Oh.
Yeah, we got the number.
So the question was, because it was basically the same, but now we had a new treasurer, so was it possible that we were gonna actually use some of this tax title, and did we need more money to go after some of these properties that hadn't paid taxes? That's what the tax title money is for.
So we got Emily
Okay.
on the line.
Yeah.
So,
I'm confusing it with the assessor thing. Never mind.
Yeah. No, we can vote it.
All right, I move that we recommend the treasurer budget, line 145, non-salary, $54,050, salary $126,455, for a total of $180,505.
second.
All in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
One more time, the numbers, please.
Yep, 54050, 126455, total 180505.
Thank you.
Are we happy voting legal? 140,000, that's going to be Mike's estimate.
Mhm.
Do we want to look at that? Legal is 151.
It's up 10 grand from this year, right? It was 130 this year. And then what we said about legal is that gonna be enough? Because we were looking to see what lawsuits were settled and not settled,
Mhm.
or not settled.
Well,
So
yeah, I
he
think-
added the 10 for the possible union,
Yeah.
with the union stuff, which I
Yeah.
get, that's fine, but
Yeah.
is that enough? I mean, or can we, you know,
Do we know where we are in this fiscal year?
this spent?
Hmm.
We spent so far 43,819.
That's it?
That's 2 quarters, so.
On what? One more time, please.
Yeah.
$43,819.
43,819.
Yes.
Yeah, but then these bills come in a bit lumpy though.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
know
it's
the
not
real
perfect.
estate bill, the real
Yeah.
estate attorney's bills generally come in
Yeah,
later, like, you know,
yeah.
so.
But
It's not
it's,
too-
there's no red flag there really. Just vote it.
Okay, I move to recommend the legal department budget, line 151, non-salary $140,000, salary 0, for a grand total of $140,000.
Yeah.
Oh, second, sorry.
All in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so, just going down here to see what we can do now.
So now he's got the green for town planner, but we have a list of stuff that we were
Yeah.
gonna talk to the town planner
So
about.
so the greys are ones which we have questions on still.
Okay, so even though it's green.
Even though it's
Okay.
green,
Yeah.
it's still, it passes Mike's test, but not
Yeah. Yeah.
not our test.
Okay.
Dispatch,
So I'm going down, the list here,
dispatch.
where's that?
Did you vote on dispatch?
Well, that's part of police really, isn't it?
I mean, it can be voted separate because it is what it is, it's an assessment.
Okay, we can go with it, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah.
assessment, and
Yeah.
Actually, this is personnel stuff and radio stuff.
But actually, it says holiday pay on the right, so what is, can you pan on that?
That's for the, yeah, that's for the person, I guess, they have the one dispatch person we have in town, right?
Okay.
So I think the increase is a little bit
Yeah.
higher than the COLA and the step, and it's because of holiday pay.
I'm fine voting it.
Okay. I move that we recommend the dispatch budget, line 215, for non-salary 19,238, salary 65,331, for a grand total of 84,569.
Second.
All in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. What about did education? What about animal control? Could we do that, do you think?
Animal control. I don't see why not. That falls under police, but I mean, that's, again, it's kind of a,
A little bit, yeah, it's sort of contracted out now, isn't it? A
yeah,
little bit of
it's
sort
all
of-
contracted out and stuff, so.
Yeah, I think we should vote that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I move that we recommend animal control budget line 292, non-salary 1,610, salary 22,629, for a grand total of $24,239.
Second.
All in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
I think the next one, we can vote council on aging.
Where's Council on Aging? Oh, yeah. Well, Mike didn't say that's not on his list, but you think if you can just go ahead and do it?
I don't know why it's on his list, maybe not, if he says we shouldn't. we
Do you
can
know,
wait.
Rajon, is there some question mark on Council on Aging? That Mike doesn't want to do it yet?
No, we don't. We're looking at the budget now. There's nothing on there.
Yeah.
Rajon, as we're voting these budgets, last week we had a question as to whether or not the 3% COLA has been changed across the board, because some of them still had notes for 2.5%. Do we know for sure that 3% is what is in every one of these budgets?
That's what Mike told me.
Yeah. So the only ones that we needed to double check with was police and fire, because we need to check with the chiefs, especially for the per diem and reserve firefighters. So I need to confirm with the chiefs, but as far as like COA, we just checked it. It's the
It's 3%?
Yeah.
Okay, even if the notes say 2.5%?
yeah, because we're looking at the percentage between FY 26
Okay,
and
that's fine.
27.
We need to clean up those notes.
Oh.
Like, not this year, but like next year. We just need to clean out the old notes before we start using this godforsaken software. Okay.
I like historical notes. I'd prefer to
Well, or move them to a
timestamp
historical.
and leave them there.
Okay, whatever, that's fine, whatever.
Because
but
erasing
like-
history is,
That's fine, but they can't be in that column where we're looking at the wrong thing.
Yes.
So should we vote
Agreed.
Council on Aging? is the
I think
question.
so, because I've been to their
Yeah.
meetings and there's nothing that
Yeah.
I know of that's gonna pop for them,
Let's do it then.
okay?
All right. I move that we recommend the Council on Aging budget, line 541, non-salary 21,600, salary 74,747, for a grand total of $96,347.
Second?
All in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
The veterans one, we had a question about the contract. And I have potential decrease.
Yeah,
for
that
that.
one. Yeah, Mike wants to get a hold on because we still need to speak with John Maserati about that one.
Okay, so that stays.
Okay.
And we still have a question on training costs for community services. Did we get any insurance numbers?
So we have a meeting scheduled with our health insurance rep the middle of this February to get the Boxborough numbers. We got the what was the rate for health insurance at the annual meeting, but we meet with our rep later this month to get our actual rate for what we're gonna be paying for health
Right, it
insurance.
won't be any higher than that number you gave us.
Yeah, it
after
won't be higher than the
okay.
14%,
MMA.
but we need to, yeah, get our actual rate.
All right.
And debt, I'm still not comfortable voting debt yet, although Mike says it's okay, because I think we need to look at these debt tables more closely and make sure that we're all aligned on that. And I really want to see that CIP table that we didn't get that this time. We just
The
got,
one from last time that we saw?
yeah, but that's the spreadsheet they normally send us with all of the lines, and it tells you what's.
The most detailed and useful one.
Yeah, we didn't get
And that was the one that showed the fire station still on it, but shouldn't be on it.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
In the
yeah,
wrong year.
Yeah. So, and that only came late this afternoon, and I've realised we don't have the one we want, basically. So, I'd like to review all this debt stuff, because we've got potentially, obviously the fire station stuff, and then we've got potentially stuff we could be bonding at town meeting. So, I don't know how we normally budget for that, actually.
So
I mean,
you want the horizontal table?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Updated, because we had it last time, but it showed the fire station debt still on it.
Yeah, so,
And we never voted that.
And we need some placeholder in there for stuff that I know we don't know yet what's going to go in there, but after Saturday we'll know actually what we're going to bond.
Right.
So
Right, so wait until
maybe
Saturday.
we should wait till Saturday maybe,
Okay.
and then put in a list, put in there the things that we're going to bond and when they're going to hit, and what's going to affect, because then we can actually accurately budget the actual cost.
So if we're gonna bond it, we don't actually put it in the budget, but we could put it in the model, right? So we'll have it, because we can't budget it, because we don't know if it's gonna pass, so when it passes, that's when it goes into the budget.
Well, we have to put it in the budget, because if it does pass,
Part of
It's-
that
it's gonna
mechanism is that it
impact-
adds it to the budget.
it's going to impact our budget. So
Right.
we can't.
That's why you're modeling it.
So you're modeling it, so
Yeah,
it'll be
yeah.
outside this budget. We won't vote those numbers in this budget.
Agree. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It will be in the
yeah,
model.
yeah.
It has to be in the model.
It'll be in the model.
Yes.
Yes, it'll be a separate line
Yes.
item on the budget, which will then get rolled in.
Event,
into
yes,
that-
we
into
don't
that
vote it
model
as part of the
budget.
bottom line of
Yeah.
the budget,
Yeah.
because each one of those will affect it, and we'll do that note like we
Agreed.
always do, right?
Agreed.
That
Yeah.
will say this
but,
will add to this number.
but for the model, we need to know what that
Yeah,
number will
absolutely,
be. So we
yeah.
can need to have, I think, in the model, we need another line that says additional debt servicing.
Well,
that's
could
not in the operating budget.
Yeah.
No, you have
Well, I mean,
the
we have it already in there.
articles.
You've got your articles and your plus free cash.
We won't be ClearGov, will it?
I don't know how ClearGov,
ClearGov is
treats-
what's in
It's
the
just
budget.
operating.
It
budget
won't
only,
be in
yeah.
ClearGov.
yeah, okay.
So ClearGov has to align with the model in terms of what the ClearGov number is in the model. Then there'll be another number which would be ATM articles.
Well, it's ClearGov plus ATM equals the
Right.
model.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And so right now, it says all free cash, right? On Mike's, it says all free cash.
Yeah.
That just gets broken up, free cash and bonding.
Right.
Mhm.
So, and then it ties into that ATM
And then
articles.
then there'll be a debt servicing cost.
Right, so
Yes.
we'll know what that is, so we'll
Yeah.
know how it affects the levy,
Yeah.
but it doesn't go into this budget until it gets voted at town
Right.
meeting.
Yeah.
Way
I
complicated.
still want to make sure this is right though, because I'm.
You know, I
still-
totally,
I'm
yeah,
not-
no,
I'm not,
I understand.
Yeah.
so for the purposes of, because we sent the updated, well, Emily got Hilltop to do the updated model, but you're saying
That spreadsheet.
the horizontal spreadsheet
we
with
get, yeah.
with the highlights on there.
Yeah.
That has the yellow and green
Oh, the
highlighting.
CIP one, the
Yeah.
budget,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Okay.
it shows what's anticipated,
By year.
even if it hasn't happened by
Principal
year.
and interest by year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the
So that's helpful, because then we know kind of what's dangling out there that, may hit at any point. So I guess that would be a question, maybe we can get update from the chief on the ambulance, on Capital Saturday, or when he
Yeah.
comes in.
Yeah.
We need an update on the ambulance progression and when we think that might hit, because that'll affect, and what's in that enterprise account, right? So, because we're supposed to use that to offset, so we may not even be using debt on that.
Yeah.
So we'll have to, some of this fire station stuff, and if there's anything for police or DPW, we could talk to them when they come in.
So I don't think there's anything else we can vote on here today.
I don't think so.
Well, we're about halfway there.
we're in really good
Just
shape,
about exactly
honestly.
halfway there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the beginning of February, and we've voted all the little ones. We can't do the school one until they vote, but we know what it is.
Yeah,
Presumably, it's not going up for
Yeah.
this number.
yeah.
It's already gone up a little bit.
It's gonna go up a little bit more probably.
What?
What? No, it's in the model.
No, it's
Since
not.
we're at the school committee, can I give you a quick?
No,
update?
not yet. Not if it includes the budget's going up.
Yeah, put them at the end.
So, what I'll say, I'm just gonna jump in anyway.
Go.
We had our budget subcommittee meeting yesterday, yeah. And we're looking at doing similar to what we did last year, which was, now that we've seen what the governor's budget is, we're anticipating again getting extra funds from the state as the budget gets voted. And what we want to do for the towns is put that number in now, saying that we're going to plan on an additional $25 per pupil, which is about $150,000. We're going to earmark that money towards OPEB because we're reducing our OPEB contribution for next year to help balance things out. And if the money comes from the state, then we readjust our assessment so that the money, the top line budget number stays the same, but the assessments to the town go down by that amount. Should the money not come from the state, we're going to remove it from our budget and we'll remove it from the assessments to the town. So because our budget workshop on Monday is the not to exceed number, we're going to ask to add 150K in. So
Total.
That yeah.
So we'll have the percentage.
So
of that.
you'll have the 18% of that, so that we can actually use that money in next year's budget should the state come forward with it. As opposed to what normally happens is, we don't get to use it, it rolls to E&D, and it just sits in E&D. So the number that you have will go up as a total budget, the assessment will go up, but the assessment will come back down in June once we know what the state gives us. If the state gives us the extra money, we keep the budget the same and we vote the assessments down. If the state doesn't give us the number, we vote our budget down to have the assessments go down as well.
Does that make sense?
Adam, you said $25 did this last year.
Some strategy.
About 150,000.
But last year was different because they got the extra money and they used the extra money, but didn't do it on the assessment. This time, what we're gonna get, so assuming the assessments go through and the budgets get voted in May for both towns, we're gonna get a letter from the region that says, we got this extra money, your assessment's going down.
Yep.
If you have no problem with it, great. If you do have a problem with it, you can call a special town meeting.
Yep.
That's gonna be the letter that we're gonna get.
Or you'll get a letter that says, we didn't get the money from the
Right.
state, our budget's going down,
So your assessment's
and
going
so your
down.
assessment's going
Right.
down.
Yeah.
So the plan is to be able to put that money into our budget, regardless of where the state's at, but not have our assessments affected from the number that you guys are working off of right now.
Whereas last year, when you got the money, you used it separate, above and beyond.
What we did
We
last
didn't get
year,
that letter last year. You used it separate. We voted everything, and then you took that money and used it for something.
no, we still lowered the assessment last year. But I
After town
think-
meeting, no, it had to be before. We never got a letter like that.
You did, because we
Interesting.
revoted our budget last year in June.
I don't remember getting a letter like that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the plan that we're trying to put in place for regularity is to say, the state doesn't tell us what we're gonna get in Chapter 70 funding until much later, and we don't want to not be able to use that money. What we're doing different this year than what we did last year is we're not budgeting the use of that money towards anything that's staffing related.
Right.
We're putting that towards the OPEB, which we've already brought down for this year to help balance things out.
So we'll see a new assessment number after Monday, basically.
Yeah,
But what we're saying is that one way or the other will come down back to more or less where we are
in one
now.
way or another, it'll come down, exactly.
Yeah,
But it's a small number.
yeah.
Yeah, it's 18% of 150K.
Yeah,
Stand by. 27 grand.
yeah. We can live with that.
The other update I want to give you, and John, you probably are well aware of this, is that the capital subcommittee for the school committee is preparing a list of capital items. We've got some pretty big ones, and so we're looking at doing what we did about 7 or 8 years ago, which is to do some excluded debt and bond for a bunch of capital work, the biggest of which are something like 11 rooftop units on the high school. It's about a $4 million job. We've got about $2 million in stabilization right now. We've got another grant for $500,000, but the balance of that we don't have funds for. If we don't do that job soon, we lose the grant for $500,000, and then there's just a whole host of other projects. And so, not for now, not for this year, but quite possibly for next year, we're starting to put together the list of items, and the capital subcommittee is looking at that. They're going to make a recommendation, and most likely there will be a recommendation to come forward with excluded debt in the $7 to $10 million range.
But that's for next May, not
That's
this
for next May, correct. But a heads up, since we'll be.
It's gonna be tough if we're in an override,
Exactly.
even being debt exclusion, and hopefully voting the fire station a few months
Exactly.
before that.
Yeah.
So it's gonna
Adam, is the current
be a lot.
bond been paid off? The 9 million?
It's 2030 is when that one gets paid off.
We're gonna have 2 bonds in parallel.
We'll have a little overlap, yeah.
Okay.
Confirm, Adam sent us a letter on June 4th, 2025, titled School Budget Amendment.
Yeah, but
Thanks,
that was
Joe.
that was 2025, before we voted the budget.
June.
Oh, June, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
thanks, said February, okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
There were a couple things that I think happened in there as well. We might have like taken 100K or 50K out of E&D or something small to help offset some consultant fees late last year for this year's work. There were a couple things, but the majority of that was we got a bunch of money from the state, and so we lowered the assessment like we said we would.
Thanks, Adam. That's school pretty stuff done.
Thank you.
This is the template that Rajon requested from me, and we sent out to the department heads for Capital Saturday. So this first slide is basically having a look at this year, the year coming up, and the following year, to give some sense of what's all the things in the capital plan for that department. There's some sort of continuity there. So it might have to do with the budget, really, where we sort of look at previous year spending, stuff like that.
Are we including the library in this?
They got it, yeah.
Are they gonna be there on Saturday?
I don't know.
I don't know that they have anything, do they have anything this year?
When I checked the capital plan, they have a few items on there.
Are they coming to the meeting on Saturday?
I sent Beishan a copy of the presentation too.
Yeah.
I thought we said they didn't have to.
Well, that was budget.
In that budget, we have no question on the budget.
I mean, they could always come to one of our meetings,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's easier if we're gonna talk about it on Saturday if they come.
And then these are the things I think we need for each individual item. So description.
Is it for every item? What's the minimum dollar value that we're talking about for making this list?
It should be every item.
If it's capital, it's every item, right?
So even if it's $5,000, it needs a warrant. I mean, I don't know that we need it on this list in that much detail. If it's $5,000, we can just, say, hey, what's this $5,000 number?
Yeah,
That's a
what-
lot,
yeah.
yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, I would,
I thought we bumped it up to 10,000.
Give us the details. Well, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if there's a range of things where this may not be necessary. Not that we don't want to know, but for the sake of time.
we can just do a verbal, real quick. Yeah. 10,000?
Not just what's emergencies.
So we should tell them that they don't need to do this if it's less than $10,000.
But be prepared to ask, for us to ask about that, because it will be on the list, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying if it's less than $10,000?
Don't need to do this.
That's a lot of work, just.
Yeah.
If it's less than $10,000, what's the expected lifespan? It's probably gonna be, I don't even know what it could possibly be. That's that.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's 3 lines in the capital plan Gary sent us where the total is under 10,000, so that's 3 departments that wouldn't have to
Yeah.
go.
No, but they have to explain it. They
Yeah, just
don't
not
need
in
to
detail.
fill in
Yeah,
all the detail.
yeah. So it'd be museum, library, and townwide are the 3 that on the capital plan are under 10K.
What? Okay, so the
It's just-
library
they're
is less
just-
than 10,000?
These are just on the capital plan, the
Mm-hmm.
fiscal year 2027, and it's just a raw number, so it doesn't break it down, but it just says, museum 7,500, library 5,500, and townwide 3,000.
Well, there's a tab for libraries over along there.
Oh, yeah,
There's a tab for every department.
there you go, I didn't see those.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah, let's see. So it's panic buttons for the library.
So if that's the only thing the library has,
Yeah.
they don't even have to, do they really need to come? Could we just
I don't
have,
even-
seriously, an email explaining it would be.
Yeah. I don't
you know?
need to come in, yeah.
I mean, I know I think actually I heard this panic
Yeah, we
buttons.
talked about it.
Yeah, we talked about it, so.
Yeah.
They don't need I don't need a justification for it.
No. And then the 7,500 for the museum? I am curious about that, because we keep putting money into like humidifiers, dehumidifiers, just moisture in the basement.
Let's see, that is HVAC.
That is one of
I was
those
thinking more
buildings.
like
Air conditioners.
new police car, you know.
Yeah,
fire truck.
air
But it's-
conditioners,
it's-
I,
I mean- I
again,
mean, yeah, we don't need for every piece of carpet or something
Yeah.
we're getting.
And then
Um,
townwide, I'm not sure where that would be. It's town hall, oh, here, townwide. That is tree health survey.
I want to talk about that, because didn't we just do that?
I don't remember.
I feel like we did this 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, because I remember,
Then it should be in ClearGov.
no, because it was a warrant
Oh,
article,
I'm sorry. Jesus.
yeah. Is there any, well, anyway, that's okay, because he's going to be here anyway.
Actually,
That's
can't
actually
you-
DPW,
Working on it. Let's see.
that's DPW,
Yeah,
so, because I remember
Can't
it
you use-
being a big deal, and it was 5,000, they reduced it to 3,500. I don't know if we put it off, or if we voted that, and are we gonna do this, like, if this is gonna be like an every 2-year thing? I mean, how bad can trees go in 1 year? I mean, if you looked at a
Wow.
tree before, like, I don't know,
annual physical.
I guess, seems a little, I don't wanna waste money, so, but we can ask, because that's DPW, so we can ask Ed about
Just,
that.
I don't know why this is, whatever happened to the traffic survey?
Oh, that was done.
Did we ever get the results?
Well, you had to really go on to the planning board meeting and listen to the 2.5-hour explanation.
Are they posted someplace?
I don't know. I would imagine, well, it's gotta be in the Dropbox from that meeting, but you know what, the easiest way to do it is to sort of say, Alec, where's this? I mean, it was very detailed. Part of the issue was the 5 or 6 things, like the top 6 things. Like, some of them were like the intersection at Liberty and Hill Road, which is actually in Littleton. Well, you can't tell Littleton what to do. So they wanted to do like maybe a rotary. I'm like, we can't tell Littleton what to do.
So, okay.
So it was a weird.
Annual town meeting, May 8th, 2023, we created the bylaw to create the formal framework for tree assessments in Boxborough to give the tree warden the,
Honestly.
Every 4 years.
Every 4 years?
That was the
Yeah.
plan.
So have we done it once and then we're
We
doing it
did
again?
Back in 2024. It was
Okay,
approved in the budget in 2024.
all right, so.
Did it happen?
So the
I
warrant
have a question.
article for that 3,000, it's still there, it hasn't expended yet, the 3,000, isn't it?
Okay.
It hasn't
So it's still
expended.
there, he
Yeah,
hasn't
it's
used
still
it.
there.
So that's the kind of thing, like, why are we
Yeah.
gonna do this again?
Yeah.
All right, so that's a question for
Yeah.
DPW.
it's like the
Tree-
assessor thing all over again, just keep
Yeah.
funding it.
Yeah, hoarding it.
Tree
Yeah.
study. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, organisation, calendar. Let's look at what's coming up.
Okay.
So we have Capital Saturday.
What time? 8?
I'm buying the bagels.
You're buying the bagels? I thought I was buying the bagels.
Oh, you're getting the
You're
bagels?
doing it.
Oh, I thought
Didn't we?
Michelle was doing it.
No, Michelle did it last time, and then we
Oh.
were talking last time.
All right, well, he's doing the bagels.
And we were
Great.
talking about the bagels,
Okay,
and
okay,
I
okay.
can't get the new bagels because John
Nope.
will like, have a problem with the new bagels. Gotta
You're
get the
gonna
old
have a problem
bagels.
with
We
the
already
new-
went through that.
Yeah, we are. This is just like,
God almighty.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've got like, okay, so we got a, really? Because the new
Joe's-
bagels are good. Have you been there? I went there yesterday.
It's the important
It's
stuff.
a chain.
Yeah.
It's a local chain. They have 4 stores. All right, whatever. I
Thank
don't
you,
care.
Joe.
You're in charge of
Going
bagels.
to the
Great.
tried and true.
you.
Yeah,
Excellent.
2 dozen, some cream cheeses, and
Get some
Yeah.
French toast bagels.
What time are you meeting?
got you.
We usually start at 8:30, but like be here at 8 if you want your coffee and your bagel.
I can just walk in there, right? I don't have to call ahead for
Oh,
2
no,
dozen bagels.
I would call
assuming.
ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Because then it's ready.
Right. Got it.
Because if you try to order, it might
You-
take you a little
can
while.
get them out on a Saturday. too.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, and you could.
Call it Friday or something.
She had them sliced.
Oh, yeah,
So you definitely want to call ahead.
good call. We don't need a bagel-related injury here.
Okay, so capital Saturday bagels, delivered by
Bagels,
Joe.
and then I'm bringing juice and cranberry juice, and the select board is doing coffee, and they're gonna do lunch. That
Okay.
menu will be sent out by Kelly to Legends, and you guys can pick your food, so please be prompt when she sends it out.
Okay.
Kristen, feel free to make another quiche. They're good.
Who is JG on there for fire?
Oh,
W.
so JK, it should be JK, shouldn't it?
Oh, okay.
Giblin.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, so school committee budget review on Monday.
That starts early.
What time does it start?
That's like 6 o'clock. It's a 5:45 welcome and refreshments.
Yeah, I think it's 5:30 actually, yeah.
I'm assuming they don't have an open bar. By refreshments, they
Yeah,
mean
yeah,
like
yeah.
juice. Well, you never know what's in the cup.
Who's going to
We
go
have
to that actually? You go?
I'm gonna try to go. I'm usually still on a Zoom call at 5:30
Yeah.
for
I'm gonna go.
my day job, but
I'm
I'll
going to go, yeah.
So, and
try to
then
get there.
I also looked at the agenda. They have something about a consultant talking about GIS mapping. Like, why?
I love the
that what-
GIS.
Because that's what we have to deal with when we're transitioning from school choice.
Okay, it just seems weird to me they would do it on a budget meeting.
That's fair, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, that's like 45 minutes, and I thought it was that. I'm like, but they wouldn't possibly do that on a budget meeting. We have enough to discuss. Because it's short, like every one of those categories is short, so
Which is good, I think.
it is good, but like, I just think it's crazy. But anyway, and then we'll have parents there, and it will be whatever. Okay.
So then we have FinCom on Tuesday, and we have Police and Retcom coming in.
Mhm.
Do we want to just review what the questions are we have for them? Going back to the
Do we have that? Do you have that list of questions that you wrote out when you sent it
original
to?
list of questions.
Huh?
Yeah, I do have them somewhere.
I think it was
You were
just,
attaching them up to
with
last week.
respect to Retcom, their budget's just confusing.
And it always has been.
Right, and it seems like stuff that we put last year that was in the revolving fund, now we've changed how that revolving fund's being used.
And maybe, are we pleased with the organizational structure? Has that changed at all, or?
I think police was,
It's the
police right there.
the lieutenant proposal.
Yeah, that's primary.
What's the effect on the ratio of supervisors to officers?
Yeah,
What's normal? Are there comps? How will it affect shift coverage?
I need to send the updated org chart to you. He actually sent that to me. I'll send it tomorrow.
and we wanted, the one thing we asked for is actual real shift coverage from last year for the shifts. How many shifts went particularly, and the actual shifts, like how many overnight shifts went without two men on,
Yeah.
two
yeah.
people on?
Yeah, we told him that's what he's
Okay.
gonna need to present.
I don't know if it's obvious, but since it's not listed here, I think it'd be helpful, because we've heard that the new position very likely will save us money or is structured to save us money. If there's like any level of simulation on years out, what that might look like, just a rough idea of what they mean by that, just so we can look at numbers
Okay.
instead of just the idea of that. I
And
think would help.
but that means, yeah, and that's like all the numbers, like that also means is the person that we're talking about promoting on Quinn or on the educational thing, and if they are on Quinn, is that gonna stay, because that's a contractual thing?
Right.
So are they gonna stay with Quinn, because that's different than the personnel plan?
I think the chief has already figured out a best case and worst case scenario.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so all of those numbers we need to,
So this is what I sent Mike to
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a spreadsheet someplace.
was to send us to do this. So to say,
Mhm.
okay, then what's current in terms of numbers of FTEs, and what are we proposing? So I think we're going down one officer and we're going up one lieutenant, I think, but that's to be confirmed.
And staying by officers, you're including in that 3 sergeants
That
question
includes
mark,
sergeants,
yeah.
because there's no sergeants
Yeah.
listed on here, so
Yeah.
that's my assumption, it's officers and sergeants.
Mm-hmm.
What does that do to the numbers, from where we are at the moment in the current budget, or does the current budget actually already assume this is happening, and then what's going to happen in the future years from that? Is there some impact of that?
Now, that's just salaries. So the
Correct.
Quinn would be included in that. Is the educational, non-Quinn educational incentive included in the salaries? Or is that a separate line item?
I always think it's in there too.
Yeah, I
the
think it's
salary.
salary.
Still on there.
It's
The only
in
thing
with the
that's
salary.
separate is the stipends.
Right, but there's nothing in
Specify
police
it,
other
so
that
we
would
know.
be,
Correct, yeah, it's on that salary
Yeah,
line.
it's all
I
salary.
would specify, make it clear to him, Maria's distinction here. Don't assume that they're gonna know it, interpret it the same way.
I mean, I've asked the question, I think that was my question. I've asked Rajan and I asked Mike.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's what we said to Mike
I
was.
just wanna make sure
Yeah,
it gets propagated or
Yeah.
telephoned all the way to
Yeah.
the chief.
So, but I can email the chief, right, with the questions, if that is helpful. So,
Right.
if these are the
Yes.
questions, if these are the questions here, these 3 questions.
Those are the questions, but you want those answers as well.
But the specifics.
Yeah, you want those questions, but into the detail level of your spreadsheet.
Right.
With Maria's additional attribute.
Yeah.
That will answer our question. So you need to combine all of that
So
into one
my
spreadsheet.
biggest, not my biggest, but one of my concerns is, you have 3 sergeants, I have no idea where they're at with respect to Quinn. My guess is they all have Quinn equivalent in their contract because they're old, they've started early enough that they would have fell into Quinn. I don't know that.
No, I think 2 sergeants. Wait.
2 of the 3 are in Quinn?
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's also an educational incentive.
And the other
in-
Quinn employee was a retiree who was a patrol officer.
Okay, so, when you go onto the personnel plan, there's no Quinn in the personnel plan. So is there a carve-out and a side letter agreement, which will continue, because as the salary goes up, it's a percentage of salary. So in year 1, it may save money, but in year 2 and 3, if the salary is lieutenant salary and the steps are high enough, they're higher than the sergeant, then that Quinn, that incentive is also gonna go up.
So
If
you
it
want to
stays.
know what the impact is of the Quinn bill on.
If we're, right,
Are they Quinn or non-Quinn?
are they gonna be Quinn, non-Quinn, or how are we gonna handle that within the personnel plan? Is it gonna be a side letter agreement, or are they gonna go onto the personnel plan educational incentive? Because Quinn is pretty substantial, that's not short money, that's real money.
Yeah.
It's not $1,000 a year because you have an associate's degree. I mean, that's a considerable amount of money. So we need to understand that impact if you go off and you're on to that salary, which is different than the union contract.
Yeah, we need to understand the impact of that. We also need to, I think, be a little bit aware, I think, of the fact that if the town next door has Quinn bill, and officers don't get it here, they can go and get an immediate pay raise.
Which is
next
true,
door.
but you know what the reality is? We've had one officer do that recently.
Yeah.
We've been in this position for 20 years with the Quinn
Right.
bill, right? We haven't really, I don't think we've lost officers because of the Quinn bill. It's not that they're like, I'm gonna go here because of Quinn. We've lost a couple of the officers. One officer left this year because he was looking to expand more into the federal side of it. One moved closer to home.
Yeah.
They're not leaving because of the Quinn bill. And maybe the last one that went to Harvard is. But we also can't, this is Boxborough, right? So, if Littleton has the Quinn bill, which I don't know if they do or don't, it's a bigger town, they got a lot more commercial,
Yeah.
taxes in their town. This is
Yeah.
Boxborough, we only have so much
we may
money.
need to accept the fact whatever. Then we're complaining about high turnover, right?
I
So we-
know,
we may need to accept
but
the
I
fact
don't think we're
we-
losing people because of
we-
Quinn.
Right, but we're just, if it's just because we're a small town and we don't offer the other benefits or whatever, maybe then that is, we just accept that.
Okay, but I'm just saying, if it stays on Quinn, then what's that financial impact?
Yeah, that's what
I'm not arguing
yeah.
whether we should have Quinn or not have
No,
Quinn.
no, that's not the discussion here. The discussion here is what's the impact of this proposed change
Right.
with regard to the Quinn bill
Right.
going forward.
Right.
Because if somebody is on the Quinn bill, becomes a lieutenant, and then gets an accelerated,
Exactly,
Pay
that means
rate,
that's
pay
gonna go
scale.
up that much higher.
uh,
That's what I mean, so
Yeah, yeah.
that's, and you're saying, Rajan, you're saying there's only 2 officers left on the Quinn bill? All right, and I assume that one of them may be retiring sooner?
Yeah.
Okay, so well, then we'll have one officer on the Quinn bill. So that goes away,
Yeah.
just because they don't qualify for it, because you had to be on the Quinn bill by a certain date or in the middle of getting your degree by that date.
So I'll pass these questions on to the chief,
Yep,
if we're okay with that, as well
Yep.
as that spreadsheet I just showed you.
Yep.
Which Mike had, but I don't know, you know, I assume he's passed it on, but just to be double sure. So I'd like to see that spreadsheet next week at the meeting and get some hard numbers here, because there's a lot of arm waving, I think.
mm-hmm. Yeah, we have to understand really what this means
Yeah,
financially.
yeah.
And then with the RecCom budget, I just think we just need to understand the RecCom budget.
It shouldn't be that complicated.
And they need to be able to answer the questions, and I don't know if Mike's coming as well.
He's gonna be there.
The whole, like, you know, we changed everything last year to move people into the revolving fund, and now we're changing it all again. And that makes transparency very difficult when we're constantly changing how we're budgeting within a department. So that's the problem I have with that budget. When I look at it, I'm like, well, this makes no sense from last year, so.
Here with my agenda on there. Lost it. Okay. So then we have the following week, we have DPW and fire. And then the week after that, we have planning and land use.
And that's a lot of planning, land use, and he's got a lot of those smaller ones, ZBA, Conscom. If we have any questions on any of those budgets, he's
Yeah,
in
Alec
charge
covers
of
all
that.
those, right?
Huh?
Alec covers all
He
those.
covers all that, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
He covers a lot of the budgets.
They're also part of that open spaces recreation plan for conservation, so that'll probably also be talked about there.
Yes, we can talk about that as
Yeah.
well, yep.
Yeah, so
We're
can-
actually probably talk about that on Saturday,
Right,
right?
yeah, well, the two
That's gonna
paths
be on
for
the
it, or,
list. Yeah, because it will be on the list if it's just
Right.
straight up
yep.
a warrant, so we should be talking about that on Saturday.
Okay, and then we've got school on the 3rd of March.
Yep.
So, there's nobody else we need to have in now?
The only thing is,
Well,
if
personnel board back
personnel
again.
board
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
back.
Yeah, when should we do that, I think?
It kind of depends on what they decide next week. He said next week they're gonna talk about regrading, right? So
Yeah.
if they regrade it, maybe he comes in on the 24th. I will be honest with you, I am not supportive of regrading without a salary survey.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's.
Um,
it's not
this
my
year in
area, that's-
particular.
That seems pretty logical. Why would you do one without the other?
Yeah.
Can you do them independently? Does it make, doesn't seem like. it
Well,
would be
usually
fun.
you get the salary survey, you know it's good for like 5 years-ish, right? You kind of,
Right, but a grade is typically attached to a salary range, is it not?
yeah, well, that's
Okay.
what happens, right? You regrade it and you go from grade 11 up to 13.
So they're gonna regrade and then find out what they should have done.
It sounds like they're gonna regrade and then
Retroactively.
have a survey a year later
Yeah,
and
that
say,
says-
wait a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, yeah, I don't want, that doesn't, like you said, it's presenting a disconnect. I don't
Yeah.
know
Although,
if you
do
would
we know, like, does regrade mean across the board, or everything's
No.
up for consideration, or is it just gonna be a couple positions?
It's a couple of positions, usually, it's not regrading across the board. What you would do across the board is if we had a salary survey, and across the board, we're like, wow, we're 5% under where we should be.
Yeah.
We would say, okay, we're gonna compromise and do a 3% overlay, plus the COLA, right? We'll do a salary adjustment. That'll be over the whole salary scale. The regrade usually is by position. So, and it's not by position, it's like department assistants.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's supposed to be based on the position, not the person, which makes it difficult, because,
Right.
you know,
Because the grade is ignoring the
you've
person.
just
If
got
they
to
were
try to
coming
ignore
in,
the
that's
person.
what the grade is.
Right?
Yeah.
This person's
it's like the
great,
job
fantastic,
description.
but the job description is X, and
Yeah.
you're grading on the job description.
Right.
okay, so I'll put it in for the 24th tentatively, and it will, that'll be a busy evening.
Gary's,
Mhm.
Gary's,
Yeah, the comment I took was the next meeting in February, unless you know for sure the next meeting is next week.
Oh,
I
I
believe it's
actually
the-
don't know for
I
sure.
believe it's the 17th.
Yeah, he said the
Oh, the
next meeting, which is
17th.
in February,
So-
so, yeah.
So maybe it's on the 24th, we ask them to come, if they talk about it on the 17th. Maybe you could just connect
Well,
with them.
well, it's in the 24th, that's where we're at for the moment.
Yeah.
I'll check with him.
Yeah,
I'll put a question mark on it. Okay, so that's probably enough of that for the moment. Okay, committee updates. Joe?
I have nothing this week.
I don't have fire station, I have that tomorrow, no, I have it the next week. I did go to planning board last night. They had nothing on their agenda, they were just gonna discuss bylaw changes, and I signed off at 10 o'clock because they were going strong and I was done. But the bylaw changes, I've never met a bunch of people who can like. Anyway, the bylaw changes they're talking about is they're back to the Mass Ave corridor.
Gateway District thing?
Yeah, and Rich presented it. It sounds like a no-brainer to me. It makes sense because they just had 975 Mass Ave and they complained incessantly about the building and what it looked like, but it's within the right. I don't know if it's gonna happen because there was some pushback. So, whatever. So they'll have to look at that. The other bylaw that they're looking to change is the municipal use table. So it's not a bylaw, it's the table that goes with the, lots of discussion around that as well. That probably isn't gonna even come till the fall because there was no agreement on that at all.
What's wrong with it?
Well, because the old table, the table needs to match the bylaw. And the old table, like for instance, museums, there's question marks about whether or not a museum can be in the ag res. Well, we have schoolhouse number 2, which is considered a museum in ag res, and we have our historical library in ag res. So they want to do, half the board's like, well, all right, let's just do it in a special permit, right? Because you don't want to have like, I don't know, a burlesque museum in the middle of a residential area, right? But maybe you want to do an agricultural museum because we're a farming town, despite what you think. So the question is, it still has to come to town meeting. There was so much pushback on that from certain members. That's going to be, I don't know, that conversation went on way longer than I thought it should. So that's probably going to be in the fall. They want to expand the design review board to go down at least the Mass Ave corridor. So that might be a second bylaw change or definition change. Because right now the design review board is only for town center. They also want to talk about a village center. Instead of town center, we now have town center. They want to do like a village overlay. And then that would allow people to build. So let's just say this White House wasn't there and there was a piece of land. You build in a village, it's like, when you walk through like Gloucester and all the buildings are 10 feet from the road. So it would allow different building bylaws. Lots of pushback on that. I'm not really sure how they're going to get any of this on any meeting.
So is the village inclusive of the town center?
It's town center.
Plus extremities.
And then the village, and then the
surrounding.
question with that is, it goes down to, I think, it goes down as far as like just past the Middlesex Bank. And then comes up, would go down Stowe Road a bit, at least to that yellow house that's there, and maybe to 72 Stowe Road, which is now ag res. It's not town center. Most of Stowe Road is not town center. And then does it come up here to like town hall? So there was a lot of questions about that. It sounds really good. There is issues. We have some historical buildings over there across the street. So what would you do with those buildings? You don't want to see those get knocked down. So they would have to. These all sound really easy, but when you start getting into the detail and the minutia, it is not. But those are the potential for bylaws that may come. And that's all I got.
Cool.
I have a question for Adam about the capital plan, which
You have a question for Adam?
yeah, he's not here right now. So let me articulate it and I'll get back to you with my results. So I know updates.
But it's definitely not coming this year. We're definitely looking at next year for this debt exclusion bond thing.
It's actually regarding that. So when they're talking debt exclusion, and forgive my ignorance here, is it with regard just like our debt exclusions?
Yeah.
Or
so what it would be is they would put a bond forward, say for $10 million, and then we would need to vote our 18% of the $10 million, and it would be the same thing. It would be town meeting vote 2/3, and then at the ballot.
okay, but then
Because
what is
Acton
it
needs the debt
excluded?
exclusion.
So is it excluded?
We get a share of the excluded debt allowance.
It would be 1.8
Okay,
million.
so it's just another.
Yeah.
Goes into the excluded debt table.
Yeah.
But this is coming from the school bond, not
But
the fire
there's
station.
some there now already.
Yeah, you're right. There was that
It
little.
rolls into the assessment.
Yeah.
It would
Yeah.
roll into the assessment, But for our purposes, in looking at the levy
Yeah.
coming down, we track it separately.
Yeah, we get an allowance.
It would
for
count towards the levy. Actually, it would not
It would
count.
count towards the levy limit, or the maximum allowable levy.
Initially. So if it's a 10-year bond,
It's a debt exclusion. It would not
Yeah,
count.
it would count towards the maximum allowable levy, because it would be a debt exclusion we'd add to our calculator for the maximum allowable levy.
Okay, yes,
So we get.
Yeah, yeah.
but it goes down.
We get
Right.
we get a credit or an allowance for that.
yes. Our-
And
our
we
levy
pay,
limit
but we
goes
pay
out.
the money through the assessment, so.
Do we currently have the school's debt servicing on our
Yeah.
model?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We took
No,
out a-
not on the model.
We
No,
took out a $9 million bond 7 years ago now.
yeah.
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 We pay it through the assessment.
Okay, so it comes out of their budget,
Yeah.
but, so how do we,
But we have a debt exclusion on our table for the levy limit
that's where it's
calculation.
complicated, so it,
Yes.
so we
Which
pay
is
the
in-
percentage to their assessment, but then we still have to calculate out of what
But not
their-
in our budget, it's
And
in the
Hilltop
model.
doesn't keep
Right.
track of it, do they?
They do, they
Did
do.
they?
It's in that CIP table, yeah.
Okay, I thought there was a
Yes, it was,
disconnect.
no, it
Yeah.
was.
It was,
Because
yeah,
remember
yeah.
we saw that thing about junior high water?
Yeah.
And we didn't know what that
Yeah,
was, school
yeah.
water? Yeah.
Yeah.
How
yeah.
much did we
Sewer.
take off at school?
The last bond was I believe it was $9 million. That's my recollection.
Excuse me. Ugh.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
It's a little complicated, the sort of nested
Right.
budget.
Well, yeah,
So-
it's
Because
just
the
important
debt
to
comes
figure
back
that
to
out
us
when we
as
saw
a-
that in there.
Subtractor from our levy
Yeah.
capacity, or addition.
It's a legal thing, I guess, right? I mean, because we have to, we have a share of the debt exclusion
Yeah,
that we can not count towards our levy limit.
right.
Or we'll count towards levy limit.
But it has to go through table 6, which is what the assessment
Mm.
formula is.
Right.
You would have fun with that. We should get you table 6 this year, let him, he would have fun with that. So,
Okay.
but everything goes through table
Okay.
6.
Is there anything
Table
else,
six.
anybody?
Yes,
No.
table 6, yes.
I'll take a motion to adjourn. So moved.
Second.
All in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting closed at 9:11 PM.
Good night.
Thank you all. Thank you, Joe, for getting the bagel.